What's up guys, Asian here again with another PTS video, and today we are re-examining Draugrkin's grip after the change that has been made in 5.3.3. So you guys might recall that old Draugrkin's grip in 5.3.2, the 5-piece had a 10% chance to proc on direct damage hits, and it would give you an additional 530 extra damage to all of your attacks for 6 seconds on a 6-second cooldown. The new and improved Draugrkin's grip, as I will show you guys in just a second here, has been changed. So now there is a guaranteed proc chance, so there is no longer a chance to proc, you just proc it straight up. It still lasts for 6 seconds. The extra damage has now been buffed up to 617, however, the cooldown has been increased to 9 seconds, so you can have an uptime of 6 seconds over 9 seconds, or a max uptime of around 66%. Now, in the prior Draugrkin's grip video that we did with the magicka, that was pretty much the best case scenario for Draugrkin's grip. Because the extra damage is applied to pretty much every single tick of your damage abilities, it will do best on a class or a build that kind of prioritizes as many dots as you can. So a magicka fits that build very nicely because of all the many class dots that it uses. So already we were given Draugrkin's grip kind of a slight edge here. Now in that video I was only able to get around a 55 to 60% uptime on the bonus itself. So with this, now that we're no longer have a chance to proc, it's a guaranteed proc, we should be able to get close to that 66% uptime pretty much the entire time, especially if we wear this as a body set. And then obviously if you go ahead and do the math with the extra damage buff, that ends up being stronger overall. So this is a general buff to Draugrkin's grip in 5.3.3. However, as we saw in 5.3.2, Mother Sorrow was still a little bit stronger. So the question is, of course, do these changes make Draugrkin's grip stronger than Mother Sorrow on a magicka, or is Mother Sorrow still going to be the set that you're going to want to run for magickas? So to test this, I pretty much did exactly what I did previously, which I basically just use these two sets as body pieces, and then I use a front bar perfected Sororia. Then I use 2 pieces on here. Pretty much the only thing I changed was this body set. It was either going to be Mother Sorrow or Draugrkin's grip. Now, in order to do a little bit more thorough testing than I did last week, I decided to do 3 tests, so 3 parses for each set. And then I went ahead and standardized the parses based on their crit chance, the actual crit, the crit ratio that I got on those specific parses. So first I will show you the raw numbers, and then I'll show you the adjusted numbers that I ended up getting. So the first 3 parses I did were with Draugrkin's grip, and the next 3 parses I did were with Mother's Sorrow. You will notice here that I do have a bit of a low parse here with Draugrkin's grip. I kept that in there, however, my suspicion is that I would be able to hit closer to one of these 2 parses, so around 82k, had I had better luck here. This might have been just a bit of a rotation issue, might have been some crit RNG. I think it was a combination of both here. So the lowest parse we got was 78.7k. Again, I think part of this was rotation issues because I was having issues with eruption going off, so I might have messed up the rotation there a little bit there, but still pretty respectable. The next 2 parses with Draugrkin's grip were a lot better, so just shy of 82k and 82.2k. You'll see that Draugrkin's grip, we got 64%, 64%, and 65%, so really, really close to that 66% uptime on Draugrkin's grip here. So remember that your light attacks do count as direct damage, so we don't really need to use Force Pulse or any other sort of modifications in order to maximize our uptime with Draugrkin's grip, as long as we are able to weave our light attacks appropriately. So 65, 64, 64, that's pretty close to what I would expect to get for max uptime. So the overall, pretty decent, so 82k. Now if we go over to the next 3 parses, this is with Mother Sorrow, get 82.1k. And then we have 80k, just over 80k here, so this is kind of the low parse here. And then we had 82.6k, so the highest parse still comes from Mother Sorrow, but taking a look at these just raw numbers wise, it does seem like Mother Sorrow is at the very least a little bit more consistent and a little bit higher. Again, this parse, if you throw it out, it does seem like, if we take out the lowest two parses I should say, then it does seem like Mother Sorrow and Draugrkin's Grip are pretty close together, pretty much neck and neck. Now, one thing I want to point out with Draugrkin that you don't get with Mother Sorrow is the Zon damage. So if we go ahead and take a look at the Zon damage, our max is 22,057 across all three of the Mother Sorrow's parses. Now, Draugrkin does affect the Zon parse. So you see here we got 22,785 here. So we do get that additional damage there from Draugrkin's Grip onto Zon. So one of the advantages of Draugrkin's Grip and just flat extra damage is that it does affect any sort of set that doesn't have a particular chance to crit. So pretty much any proc set will get boosted by Draugrkin's Grip. So that is one advantage that Draugrkin's Grip does have. If you are running a lot of different proc damage sets, then Draugrkin's Grip might be a nice set to pair with that, because otherwise Mother Sorrow isn't really going to boost that additional crit damage. I should say non-crit damage here. But enough about that. Now let's go ahead and take a look at the standardization process. So you guys might remember that I did do a video prior that was basically taking a look at how to standardize parses. So I'm not going to bore you with that. You guys can go ahead and check out that video on your own time. But basically, in your typical Captain spreadsheet fashion, I did make a spreadsheet to kind of make things a little bit easier for myself. I also did do it in R, and we will go over to R just because there I have all the numbers totaled up versus here, which is just individual. So this will be shared once I clean it up a little bit and create a couple more spreadsheets for those of you guys who want to adjust multiple parses at a time. So basically what you want to do here is you want to take you have basically 6 numbers you want to have here. So you want to have your total number of hits, which you can get from combat metrics, normal hits, which are basically hits that are non-crit, again, get it from combat metrics, critical hits from combat metrics again. Then you have what I like to call non-critable hits. So these are hits that no matter what will not crit. These are going to be things like must helm sets and proc sets essentially. So you want to make sure to enter in those numbers. Then you also want to include your mean crit chance and then your crit damage, because you are going to be adjusting on your crit modifier. And essentially what we do here is we basically take our non-critable hits here, so this is cell B4, and we want to take that out of our total hits. So you want to take the 78 out of 2041 here, which is what I did here. And then for your non-crit, you want to make sure that if you want to just manually calculate it, you would take out the non-critable hits from your normal hits, or you just take 1 minus your adjusted crit rate. They should get you the exact same answer. Then you want to adjust, so now you have your adjusted crit rate, and you want to compare that to your mean crit chance. So if your mean crit chance, in this case I just took the max crit chance because Common is bugged currently on the PTS where it's not giving me the proper mean crit chance, and I didn't want to bother going out and try to figure it out. But your mean crit chance would have been something, let's say it was like 0.53 or something. You can see that you actually ended up under critting here. So basically your RNG was a little bit on the bad side for this particular parse. You only got 51.8% of our hits were actually crits, when in theory you should be getting about, in this case, 55.8%. So we have our adjustment factor, which is basically that ratio. You take your unadjusted parse, you multiply it by your adjustment factor, and you get your adjusted parse. So that 78.7k that I showed you earlier from Draugrkin's Grip, when we adjust for the crit RNG, it should be 80.9k. Now, with all that said, here is basically what I did in R. So basically the exact same thing, just repeated over 6 times. So I did, again, 6 different parses, 3 with Draugrkin's Grip, and 3 with Mother Sorrow here. Let me move me out of the way really quick, just so you guys can see down there. And let me blow this up a little bit here. So I already calculated out all these numbers. These are the parses right over here. So you can see 80.9, 82.5, 82.9, and then Mother Sorrow 84.4, 82.6, 83.7. So not looking good for Draugrkin's Grip. When we take the mean of all of this, so our mean parse for the standardized parse, I should say, for Draugrkin's Grip ends up being 82.1k. And our standardized mean parse is 83.6k for Mother's Sorrow. So even on a magicka, where we're pretty much given Draugrkin's Grip the kind of best case scenario, Mother's Sorrow is still pulling ahead here. And if we go ahead and take a look at the percentage change here, let's see, that would be this minus this. Let's see, so that's that, and then take this, and we divide by this. That's final minus initial, so we want to do this. Did I do something wrong here? I think I did. It should be 1 minus. There we go. So it does seem like Mother Sorrow is weaker, obviously, by about 1 point, or I should say, Mother Sorrow is stronger, I should say, by about 1.7%, 1.8% increase in damage on the class that pretty much suits Draugrkin's Grip the best, the magicka. So again, the conclusion hasn't really changed from the previous video, from 5.3.2. Despite the buff to Draugrkin's Grip on 5.3.3, it still loses out to Mother Sorrow. So you're still going to want to get Mother Sorrow. Perhaps Draugrkin's Grip might be good in a future patch if they decide to nerf Mother Sorrow for whatever reason. So if you're running through the dungeon and you happen to get a couple of Divines pieces of Draugrkin's Grip, hold on to them if you have the bank space, if you have the storage space. But like I mentioned in the prior Draugrkin's Grip video, I wouldn't necessarily go out of my way to farm for this set specifically. This is a set that you would collect while you're doing that dungeon, and on the off chance that Mother Sorrow does end up getting nerfed, you might want to consider swapping over to Draugrkin's Grip. But that concludes this video. Hopefully you guys found this informative. Links in the description below to that spreadsheet once I get it all up and running, along with a link to the video where I go over standardizing parses over crit RNG. Again, hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you guys in the next dungeon.